All right, we've got a major weather pattern shift on the way, and it's going to shake things up across the United States over the next several days. This is a big one. Not only are we about to see some of the warmest temperatures of the year so far, but severe weather is also making a strong return. In fact, we're looking at one of the biggest severe weather risks we've had all year, with conditions setting up for a potential outbreak. So today, I want to break everything down for you, go over what's happening now, what's coming next, and what you need to be prepared for as we move into this very active stretch of weather. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Let's start with what's currently happening across the country, because we've already had some severe storms within the past 24 hours. Areas across the southeast have been dealing with thunderstorms, heavy rain, and some pockets of damaging winds. Even as of right now, showers and thunderstorms are still ongoing, stretching from East Texas through parts of Georgia. There are still a few strong storm clusters hanging around, and while they aren't widespread, they could bring isolated, damaging wind gusts as we go through the afternoon hours. The system responsible for all of this is pretty significant. It's being driven by a low pressure system that's all the way up in Michigan. And from there, a long line of showers and thunderstorms extends from the northeast down into the deep south. Over in the Pacific Northwest and into the Central Plains, there's also another storm system, but this one is weakening. It's bringing some light rain and even a little bit of snow in some areas, but it's not going to last much longer before it falls apart completely. Yesterday, we saw a more significant severe weather outbreak with multiple reports of large hail and damaging winds stretching from the southern plains all the way through the Tennessee Valley. We even had a tornado touchdown in western Mississippi, specifically on the west side of Rolling Fork. If that name sounds familiar, it's because that area was hit by a devastating F4 tornado just 2 years ago. Now, the good news is that this tornado was nowhere near as strong as the one from back then, but it did still cause some damage to homes in the area. And unfortunately, this is just the beginning. Based on what I'm seeing with this upcoming weather pattern, we are going to have more severe weather to deal with as we move into the weekend, and some of these storms could be much more intense. A reason why things are shifting so much right now has to do with the jet stream. At the moment, we have a very strong high pressure system sitting over the West Coast, and this is playing a big role in the way weather is developing across the country. This high pressure system is forcing moisture up and over the Rockies and into the Pacific Northwest, keeping that region active with rain and mountain snow. Meanwhile, over the Great Lakes, we have another powerful storm system that's driving showers and thunderstorms across the East Coast. This entire setup is something we call an omega block pattern. Essentially, it means that a large high pressure system is trapped between two low pressure systems, creating a sort of weather blockade. And what that means for us is that for the next 4 to 5 days, this high pressure system is going to act like a shield, preventing any major storms from moving across the country. But here's where things get interesting. This omega block pattern isn't going to last forever. By the end of the work week, this high pressure system is going to start weakening and shifting toward the Great Plains. And once that happens, we're going to see a major storm system take its place. Now, if you were just looking at the jet stream, you might not think this system looks like much at first, but don't let that fool you. Once all the ingredients come together, this is going to bring a very large risk for severe weather. As we move into next week and the first week of April, the overall pattern is going to stay extremely active. I've been watching the trends, and it looks like we're heading into a stretch where severe weather is going to become much more frequent. Up until now, we've seen some big severe weather events, but they've been happening about once a week. That's about to change. Instead of getting a major storm system every 7 days or so, we could start seeing severe weather happening every other day. This is a major shift, and it means we need to be prepared for a very active start to April. The Storm Prediction Center has already issued a large slight risk area for severe weather on Saturday, covering parts of the Central Plains. This includes regions from western Illinois down through Oklahoma and Arkansas, where we could see damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes. But the real concern is what happens on Sunday. Sunday, March 30th, is looking like a potentially big severe weather day, and the forecast risk area is absolutely massive. We're talking about a region that stretches all the way from southern Michigan down to the Gulf Coast. Now, I know a slight risk might not seem like a huge deal at first, but this is one of the largest areas I've ever seen highlighted this far in advance. It's still early, so the details will get more refined over the next few days, but this is definitely a situation to watch closely. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds are all on the table, and as we get more data, we'll be able to pinpoint exactly where the highest risk will be. Now, if we look at the short-term forecast, things are actually going to be fairly quiet for the next couple of days as that Omega block pattern holds strong. By tomorrow, most of the country is going to be in pretty good shape with only a few lingering showers in the mid-Atlantic. Wednesday looks pretty similar, calm across most of the country, aside from another atmospheric river event bringing more rain to the Pacific Northwest. By Thursday, things start shifting again with moisture beginning to build over South Texas. This is going to play a big role in setting up the severe weather risk for the weekend. By Friday, we start to see the first real signs of change. More rain develops in the southern plains and a small clipper system moves through the upper Midwest. But the real action kicks off on Saturday. A low pressure system is going to strengthen over the Rockies and move eastward, setting the stage for more organized severe weather across the central and southern plains. Right now, it looks like the biggest storms could be more isolated or scattered rather than widespread, but that could change as we get closer. Sunday is the day I'm really watching. By midday, widespread showers and thunderstorms will likely be developing along the Mississippi River Valley, while snow starts falling further north in the Midwest. The low pressure system is expected to be around 1,000 millibars. Not the strongest we've seen this year, but still enough to bring strong winds and severe storm. As the system moves eastward into the evening, storms will push from Indiana down toward the Gulf Coast, with the highest tornado threat likely in the Dixie Valley region. By Monday, the system moves off the East Coast, bringing rain and some snow, but the severe threat will be over. Now, keep in mind, this isn't the strongest storm we're going to see this April. We're only at the beginning of the month, but this setup is already looking more like something we'd expect in May. These storms are going to keep getting stronger as we move through late March and early April. And look at what's fueling all of this. Return flow from high pressure is bringing tons of moisture into these severe weather systems. By Saturday and Sunday, we're seeing huge amounts of precipitable water getting pulled into the storms, and it's still lingering along the East Coast into Monday. If things get upgraded, I'll have those updates for you as well. And then, of course, we have even more moisture setting up for the next system coming in next week. So let's talk about dew points. By Saturday, we're seeing very strong dew points surging northward. You only need about 55 degrees for thunderstorms to develop, and we're seeing 60s and even 70s stretching all the way up to the Ohio Valley. That is a major signal for severe weather potential. And by Sunday, those dew points are still in place along the East Coast, meaning we could see yet another upgrade. And then Friday night, we're looking at a ton of lightning strikes across the Central Plains and Great Lakes. This is right as a new storm system moves in, bringing a mix of freezing rain and thunderstorms. Then Sunday into Sunday evening, this is where things really start blowing up. On the northern side, we've got snow and freezing rain, but down south, closer to that low pressure system, we've got severe weather firing off from Indiana southward. And take a look at the lightning. It's everywhere. This is going to be a huge lightning event on Sunday and Monday along the coast. Now, Monday does look like it'll weaken a little, but the real action is happening from Saturday into Sunday. That's when we see the biggest tornado potential with huge hail threats and significant severe weather across the south. And right behind that, another storm. By Saturday, we start seeing that return flow kicking in, moisture surging northward, and new storms developing in the south. A low pressure system will be building over the Central Plains, and right on the eastern side of it, we'll see storms firing up. And with this return flow, that's what's driving these systems. Sunday morning into Sunday evening is when this really starts escalating, and right near that low pressure is where we have the biggest tornado risk. This system is pulling in tons of energy, and the size of these storms, massive. We're talking very large hail and a strong tornado threat. Now, we're still about 5 to 7 days out from all of this, so there's plenty of time for things to change. But trust me, this setup is going to evolve a lot as we get closer. Now, for snowfall, this next system is still showing a big snowstorm moving through the Midwest, Great Lakes, and eventually the Northeast, and the one behind it. Even more snow, possibly feet of accumulation. The models are all starting to agree on this, and I'll be watching for any changes in the forecast. All right, that's your update for now. I'll have more details in my next update this afternoon, so make sure you're subscribed to have that bell clicked. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. Stay safe out there, everybody. I'll see you in the next update.